Well, hello and welcome to the First Alert Weather Podcast, or maybe it's the Fox 12 Weather Podcast. This is episode 135. I am your host, Mark Nelson, Chief Meteorologist here at KPTV, also known as Fox 12 here in Portland. And Peyton Major, how are you?
Good. Doing great.
Peyton is our newest meteorologist. You know, I was just thinking, I'm great, but I was just thinking that another 2 months you won't be, like our new meteorologist. You're all seasoned, right?
It's been, 4 months? I think.
It's been that long, yeah. Time is flying. We're heading towards summer. Yeah.
I guess I joined in early January, so we're going on 5 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Summer's almost here. All right, so it is, we're recording this on May Day. It's May Day, folks. Power to the people. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But May Day, I know that's a big historical, labor time. But 1st of May, we just had a very warm day. It's Thursday evening. You may be, we'll probably get this online, probably dropping into your podcast feed 9-10 p.m. this evening. I think it's more likely more of you will be listening to this on Friday. And so here's what we're going to cover as we go through this episode. It's just the two of us. Camilla has the day off, the weekend off, or at least part of the weekend off. And Katie once again is asleep. We don't want to imply Katie is always asleep, but when we recorded in the evening, Katie gets up really early. Okay, so she doesn't want to be awake at 7 p.m. So shh. Okay. Here's what we're going to cover. You can see this, right, Peyton?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So we're going to cover these things. We got the April wrap-up since we just finished April. Peyton's going to cover that part. Hint, warm and dry. Okay.
Yep.
I'll cover the snowpack and the water supply. We'll both kind of cover what's ahead. We've got a term of the week. And then we got some viewer photos. So let's just jump right into it. So today we hit 83. Oh, yeah, that's right, Peyton. So in 10 or 15 minutes, that'll be your job because I might be flapping my lips here. Well, actually, here's a behind the scenes thing. The way the high temperatures work, these are called METARs, meteorological observations all around the world. They're called METARs at these official stations like Portland and Vancouver and Trout de Aurora. And they output a maximum and a minimum temperature every 6 hours. And during the warm season, it's 5 p.m. our time is a maximum and a minimum. There'll be another one at 11 p.m. And of course, there was one at 11 a.m., right? And let's not leave out 5 a.m. So we know every 6 hours what the high and low temperature was during that time. But since here in Portland, often in the warm season, if we have a sunny, warm day, the high temperature might be just after 5 p.m. Oh, by the way, that's just a time set around the world. So everybody has the same 6 hours.
Yeah.
So what happens is there are times in the summertime we're sitting here and we say, wait a minute, it was 83 degrees was the high temperature today, ending at 5 p.m. in Portland. And it was also 83 degrees at 5 o'clock. That was the current temperature. And I see, Peyton, it was 83 at 6 o'clock. So on a day like that, we typically are like, okay, we need to check. So the Weather Service, National Weather Service here in Portland, they're hard workers. They output something called a daily climate summary. One comes out about 4:20, shows the high and the low and the degree days and all that stuff. But then the next one to cover the daytime high, so you don't have to wait until 11 p.m. to find out how warm it was today. They also put one out around 7:20 to 7:30 p.m. We're recording this at 7:14.
Yep.
So
we'll be waiting.
Oh, yeah. So, folks, you may have brand new information as we record this podcast.
Breaking news. We're going to see if it's been well, it's already been the warmest day this year, I guess, right? Because we were at 82 last month. Or was that March? My goodness.
Why don't you tell the viewers about how I proclaimed it was a record high temperature today?
Well, no, it's okay, Mark. We all have bad days.
Folks, I finished a segment. I think it was during the 5 o'clock, and I said, I had the graphic even that said record high for May 1st. And God bless Peyton. She's so nice. She didn't just come over there and say, what the hell are you? We can say hell on a podcast. It's okay. She did not come over and say, what the hell are you talking about, Nelson? There was no record high today. And even I knew the record was 89. And I realized in my twilight years here that I was confusing in my head the record high for today versus I knew it was something big. It was the warmest day so far this season. So the graphic is now fixed. Yeah. Hey, you didn't see this, Peyton. This is a view up at Ski Bowl. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, it's all snow covered. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago. I said, it's all snow covered down at this elevation. Notice it's snowy or higher up. You can look up at the upper bowl and see the snow there. But down here at 3,700 feet or so, I believe it is, the snow's mostly gone at that elevation at Ski Bowl, 66 there today. And we're going to cover snowpack in a few moments, but I'd forgotten a year ago we had this image from May 1st. Isn't that kind of fun?
Oh, that is fun. Look at all the fog and stuff too.
Who moved to wood pallets? Wood pallets are gone. That's nice. But the rocks are still in the same place.
Oh, that's good. Any trees fallen? Just kidding.
Let's see. Nope, they're all in the same place.
Yeah.
Actually, on the left by the little the little lift round things that you can see, the trees are exactly the same. Look at that.
Oh yeah, they are. Wow, what a great shot.
The point is, last year at this time we actually had a cool pattern at the beginning of May, so yeah, it was cold stuff.
A little bit of an opposite thing.
Not happening this year. Okay, and then you are on, Peyton. So we're going to talk about April. So since we just wrapped up the big month.
Yeah, we had one 80-degree day, 81. That was April 24th. And our 180-degree day for the month is actually right on track. We usually only have 180 on an average April.
Oh, that's right.
Our average temperature, which is basically the average of the high and the low temperatures all throughout the month, it was about 56.5. I didn't want to put the 0.5 there, so I said 56. I think it's 56.4. That's why I rounded it down.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, or I would have said 57. But yeah, that's still the 4th warmest April on record. Mark and I have this really handy dandy website that gives us this information, so we don't need to, go through all the data. But yeah, still, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I think it shouldn't come as a surprise just because we had very, very warm days, and also lots of dry days. You can see your eyes kind of go to the rainfall, which we only had just over an inch, and that makes it tied for the 11th driest April. And yeah, this goes to your graphic.
I'm going to jump ahead to this one.
Yeah, go for it.
First. No. I mean, you can keep talking, but this matches what you just said, the 1.01.
Yeah. So you can see, obviously, we've had a good mix of Aprils the last, 7, 8, 9 years? I don't even know. But yeah, we've had record wettest. We've also had the record driest just within a year time. So that 1.1 inch or 1.01 inches, obviously well below our average of 2.89. We want to have a little closer to almost 3 inches of rain. But this shouldn't come as a surprise again. It's been so dry the last 3 weeks of April. And Mark made this lovely graphic yesterday.
Yeah, one of the few I've made. For the record, Peyton has made almost every other graphic since our graphic changeover.
Well, this one's very good. I don't think I could have made this one this good.
And you took graphics design classes.
I did.
So that comes
I'm
from
impressed.
I feel okay. Wow. Okay, I feel good about myself. Good.
I gotta butter you up because I feel like you're putting yourself down after the whole daily record comment earlier.
Oh, ouch! You had to bring that one back.
Yeah, just had to. It's okay. I'm building you back up slowly. No, so we only had 1/4 inch of rain during 3 weeks, and we should have almost 2 inches. So that gives you perspective. I mean, we've seen it in our environment.
Dry.
Yeah, we've just seen it in our environment. Like, just even walking around, the lawn should be a little greener, or maybe you're watering your plants a little more than you should be this time of year.
Once we get into the warm season, we need about an inch, and we're just now getting into kind of the big growing season. This was the month, April is a month where everything, at the beginning of the month, most trees were bare, and then now most trees have leaves, so they're really now starting to require the water. But those plants generally need about an inch of rain per week, and if we're only getting 1/4 inch every 2 or 3 weeks, that means we're really losing ground moisture pretty badly. Just today, Peyton, you're not a gardener, right?
I wish I was. I'm trying, but no.
Are you the type of person, like someday if you own a home or have some property, like you'd have pots and plants and things, or no?
Again, I'm just an aspiring green thumb person.
I see. Okay.
But I kill everything. So,
Oh, yeah, Camilla's the same way.
Yeah, I want to be. I don't have the magic touch.
You just have to water things, that's all.
See, that's what I'm doing. I have basil and I have cilantro. You think that's simple, right? No,
you killed it?
I've had them for like 2 weeks, and I water them every other day-ish because they're right in the window. Yeah, I don't know. The soil feels dry. Anyway, we could go to a whole thing, but...
So today I was going to say, so I have what's called drip irrigation, where you just have all the lines out, like for the veggies and the pots, on the deck and stuff. And today I set it up because I'm going on vacation next week. Probably no severe thunderstorms. We're not going to have a windstorm or snow. I think the Mark Nelson vacation curse will probably be broken this week.
Let's hope.
The point is, I thought, I think that's a little bit too dry for some of my stuff. Yes, I could soak it tomorrow before I leave, but I thought, let's just set this up because beyond this, we don't know when we're really going to get significant rain.
Right. So this is a graphic I finally edited. We haven't had this for a couple weeks now, but Yeah, so this basically shows you the daily high temperature all throughout the month of April. The blue represents a day below normal, a gray is right around average, and then the red is above normal. So a lot of above average days, and especially that deep dark kind of maroon color shows you just how many upper 70s, mid 70s we've had, and that resulted in 3.5 degrees above normal. And we should be into the mid 60s at the end of the month. I mean, you can see we had a couple days near there, but for the most part,
really
it
warm.
was well above. Yeah.
We would be happy with this in May. You
Yeah.
know, if you just took that thing as a whole, that month as a whole, you'd say, oh, that was a pretty average May. But yet it was April. Hey, I just realized, so you updated this graphic. How did you were able to get all those fonts? That's the new Barlow fonts, isn't it?
I packed my patience. I had to do everyone individually.
As they say, that's a cliche. I love it when the reporters say, pack your patience when you're at the airport.
Yeah. Or traffic or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously we saw a lot of 70s and even a few 80s. Do we have, how many 80s do we have? I'm going to go back.
One.
Just one? Well, yeah, you're right. We talked about this. Just one. We were very close.
We had 2 in late March. Yeah.
We had 2 in March, though. Yeah. We were very close to another 70, and this is why I'm getting confused, on Tuesday this week.
See, you get confused too, and you're not as old as me.
It's just there's a lot of numbers to remember in this job, Mark.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say, I had a deep thought about that. Did I just lose it? Oh, it's interesting. We had the 82 on, was it the last, it was like March 25th or whatever it was, that thunderstorm day, or well, lack of thunderstorm day. We had that 82. So that was one of the only times I can remember where the high temperature was warmer in March than in April.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was such an early 80, so that makes sense.
Right. And we almost broke that record for 70-degree days.
Yeah, we had 12. So if on Tuesday we reached 70, we would have tied it, which I was really hoping for, just for, to say we tied a record. But yeah, one short. We matched with 2021.
That said, we've talked about this last week, I think. The ASOS temperature sensor at PDX is about to be replaced. It does seem to, let me back up. It sure does seem to run warm. This actually today was not crazy. Notice Kelso was warm, but it was, at least 2 degrees above most. Well, actually today it didn't stick out as much, did it? See the 83 and 81 in Vancouver.
It's not as consistent as Salem was, I will say.
Yeah, Salem was getting crazy back in, was it late January, February when they replaced it?
Yeah.
Salem was like 5 degrees above regularly. So we'll see. But apparently, rumor has it, I heard from anonymous sources that, it wasn't really anonymous, but I'm going to say it's anonymous, that the Portland sensor, they're replacing all these airport weather sensors with a new sensor, because I think they're like 20 or 30 years old. They're replacing all of them one by one. Some in Oregon have been replaced, some in Washington have been replaced, all nationally, I think, are supposed to be done by the end of the year. And I heard that Portland Airport is next. So we will know when that happens, when it goes offline. It'll happen in the middle of the day because technicians have to shut it off and replace it. It'll go offline for 1, 2, or 3 hours. It'll come back, and what do you bet? It's going to run about 2 degrees cooler. That's my prediction.
We'll see.
We will see.
Yeah. By the way, we had 12 days, 70 or above. I didn't say that. For those that are just listening.
Mm-hmm. We highly recommend. This is a visual podcast, folks. Yes, I say this all the time. I listen to it on the way home just to see what we sounded like, or if there was somebody said something offensive. So I can apologize to the boss the next day when I show up. But so far that has not happened. But I like to always say, watch the video, because you can get the link through our app. Our app is the best way, because if you have our app, as soon as we get the new podcast done, it does a push alert out.
Yep.
So you want to watch this because you got visual stuff. Like these graphics coming up. Okay, topic number 2, snowpack and water supply. So, it's funny, Peyton, we get, what was that?
I said it's a hot one. I've gotten a lot of questions about this too.
Snowpack, really?
Yeah.
I was just about to say, interest really kind of goes away once it warms up. But I guess at the back of people's minds, well, are we okay? It got pretty warm. Are we going to have a drought? Yeah. So since this is a podcast, we get to use graphics we wouldn't use on TV. All right, so we've used these graphics in the past, but if you're new or you need a refresher, here you go. So this shows a weather station, actually the closest one to Government Camp near that elevation, 4,000 feet Mud Ridge. It's basically, after you leave Government Camp, there's a chevron there before you go out into no man's land. There's a chevron. It's kind of on the ridge above there. So the black line is November, late October, all the way to now. Now is the blue line, actually, or blue dot is 2 days ago. So this would be the 29th of April. This is how the snowpack progressed. Inches of water in the snowpack, snow water equivalent, through the whole season. Notice we peaked there in mid to late March. And the normal peak is about here. So actually it was a little below average at that spot near government camp. But we were running near average. Actually, the green line is average. All right. Actually, I think I said that wrong. This little X is up there saying this is typically the peak snowpack, but it would be down here. Okay. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they just put that above just so you can see where it is. I may have read that wrong, but the point is typically the peak at this location is the end of March or early April, and then the melt off is complete in an average year by what would that be? Mid-May, late May?
Yeah, looks like mid to late May.
But you see the effect of the warmer and drier than normal April. See how the decline is much steeper.
Yeah, just dropped off.
We go way below average. I assume that this will be within a week is going to be down here, almost gone. So yeah, so that's at that elevation. Now you go up to the Mount Hood test site. This is a much deeper snowpack. You know, peaks out typically 58, 60 inches of snow water equivalent. It has begun to drop off, but you can see now it's faster than average. I mean, we are melting more quickly than normal now. So this has been kind of a feature of some springs lately, I've noticed. My guess is, gut feeling is, it is, you know, because of our warming climate. So just a faster melt off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and then here's one more. Diamond Lake down there just north of Crater Lake, and this is at 5,000 feet. And
interesting thing.
Remember, Southern Oregon, way above average. At times, Diamond Lake back here in early January was at the record. The record, this is the highest on any date up here. Okay. So it was near record values at times. But the peak, because we had all that snow in late March down there in Southern Oregon, notice how the peak was significantly later than average. But yet, look how quickly it's catching up to normal. Yeah. So the melt off in the end is probably going to be about the typical time at the beginning of May at Diamond Lake, where the last of the snowpack is disappearing. So point is, warmer, drier than normal spring, you can have a big snowpack, but it collapses more quickly. And this is more dramatic. So this is Snow Mountain. Remember the flooding and burns a few weeks ago, back in early April? And so this is northwest of there at about 6,600 feet, quite high. And see how it was. It was flirting with the record high the entire winter from November. You get a little below, a little above, a little below, a little above. Peaked back here in, I would say that would be the end of March, first week of April. And look at that drop off. It has gone from record high to soon it'll be about average for this state, and it will be gone, I assume, in a week or two. Pretty interesting, huh? So quite a collapse.
So crazy. There has been, it's like the Great Collapse. We could call it that, probably, right?
If we didn't have the big snowpack, I think we'd have issues right now, because you don't want a warm and dry spring with the low snowpack. Yeah. Look at the Willamette reservoirs, the teacup diagrams. These are always fun. This number here, if I'm correct, 73% of. Oh, I cut off the description. I believe it's 73% full. Oh, all the reservoirs brought together as a whole are 73% of average. Yes, I believe that's correct. And
maybe it's like a full pond, maybe.
Yeah, if they were all put together, yes. Because notice most of them are slightly below normal for this time of the year. Sometimes I'm guessing this cougar. Sometimes reservoirs they have issues or they have new requirements to be with fish or whatever. Obviously, that's so far below. There's a reason it's low. They must be doing maintenance or something. But Green Peter's great. Detroit Lake is great. And here we go. Oh, this is hardcore. Have you ever seen one of these, Peyton? I didn't see these until years into my career. So this is Army Corps of Engineers. It's actually mandated where the lake levels are supposed to be. And let's just start like right around Labor Day. The red line is called the control curve, the rule curve, the control curve. They try to keep the lake at this throughout the year. And what's going on is they try to keep starting around May 1st, actually over here. Right around May 1st, they want Detroit Lake full or at the top of its conservation level is what they call it. 1563, right there. I think the boaters on Detroit Lake know that, like, 1563, we want it up there. But they try to keep it full all the way until the end of August, if they can. Obviously, in a normal summer, it does slowly drop off.
Yep.
But then starting at that point, then they draw it down, regardless of how much rain falls. They want it down by December 1st to its wintertime low. So that's about 110 feet lower than summer level. So people will drive. So it's supposed to do that. They want it to do that because they want to keep space for flooding, right? In the winter, these are flood control projects after the 1964 flood. Most of these were built on in the Willamette Basin for that reason. So, Yeah, so by December 1st, they want it low, and they can capture any big flood events in December, January, or February, or for that matter, November too, because it's getting pretty low. And you can see how they did that last year. They kept it real close to the curve. And the blue line is what actually occurred in the last year. By the way, this is where we are right now. We're on the right.
Mm-hmm.
But look at that big event, late December, early January, very wet.
Yeah,
And that
New Year.
lake filled, let's see, so 1450. So that lake went up by about 60 feet around the New Year. That's a pretty dramatic rise. So they held all that water back so we wouldn't get flooding downstream, right? Salem, Portland. That goes into the Willamette River. This is on the Santiam River. And then once the flooding is over, oh, yeah, that's right. Remember in January we had, were you here? Yeah, 2 weeks of sunshine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
We had that little dry spell. It was like one of the longest dry spells.
It was. It
in January.
It was January's longest dry spell, as I recall.
Yeah.
And so during that time, they dumped all the water out and brought it right back to where it's supposed to be. But then it was kind of dryish in February, so it was slow to catch up again. But they're like, okay, they let all the water collect again in late February. Must have been very wet. I forget what happened, but then they caught up, and they're lucky because we had plenty of rain in March, and the snow melts in April. So
right.
That is how the rural curve works. I can't say that word, rural curve.
Rural curve.
But the point is, it's all mandated, federally mandated, or I don't know the details of how it works, but sometimes people, we will get pictures in the wintertime. You'll probably get some this winter. Somebody will drive by Detroit Lake and say, oh my gosh, especially if we're actually in a drought year, they'll say, oh my gosh, look how low the lake is. Well, they normally want it 110 feet lower in the winter than in summer. So you see all the stumps out and people panic and they take a picture and send it to the news people.
We check on the high really quick. I forgot the time of the high temperature for today.
Oh, are you going to? Yeah. What do you have?
Yeah. Sorry about the lights shining in the camera here. I was trying to angle my camera right, but studio lights are hard to hide from. They are.
What do we have? I'm afraid to open a second browser and overtax my computer with the presentation here. So it's all you, Peyton.
I still think it's 83. Hold on.
Probably, but nah, I bet 70% chance to hit 84.
Is it on the OBS? Am I being silly?
Oh no, at the daily climate summary. It's on the Mark Nelson weather page.
Yeah, I figured it was probably on that thing. He's got a pretty good weather page, guys, if you haven't heard about it.
Well, we will move on. We're going to get it.
Yeah, keep going.
Well, you're looking at the photos. You know what? That's a teaser for the end of the podcast because while we're looking at the photos, I'll pull up I'll pull it up there. So, okay. So
Perfect.
Here's a visible satellite today, or if you find it, let me know.
Okay.
Visible satellite. Wow. Totally clear.
Dun, dun, dun.
If you look very closely, I can't zoom this in. You see that fire in the middle of the Ochocos, northeast of Prineville? Right there.
Oh, there it is.
Pretty good forest fire. But these are controlled burns for, forest management. I saw like one up here in the Wallowas. I think I saw 4 or 5 of these today. So all clear. We have a large area of high pressure overhead. That's sinking air, heights at 500 millibars, 576, not a huge ridge. In summertime, when it's, a heat wave, 585, 590, 595 is the big stuff, like over 100 degrees. So 576, it's a pretty good ridge for this time of the year, but this is what we would typically see maybe briefly in June. But we're in a progressive pattern. This isn't sticking around that long. Oh, and again, progressive in the weather terminology is not the same as political terminology. It just means things are moving along. All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into trouble.
It's still pretty impressive, though. Look at that thing.
Yeah, look at that ridge. And then here is Saturday afternoon. So about 2 days from now, there's a trough coming through, but just like the one last weekend, look how it's splitting. Some of the energy going into California. The upper level low, a new one is kind of trying to develop right over San Francisco this Saturday afternoon. Meanwhile, the upper level trough is passing over us. There'll be some scattered showers during this time. But here comes a ridge again. Tuesday, 576 heights. So warm stuff again. If we look at the big picture, this is the GFS. I say GFS, but actually it's the ensemble average of the GFS model. You got to throw the GFS a bone once in a while. And how can it possibly screw up 5-day anomalies? Seems unlikely. But leave it to the GFS. We'll see. So this is days 0 through 5. So the next 5 days, the average height anomaly, the warm colors are higher than normal heights. If we have higher than normal heights in May, it's going to be warmer than average typically. And that's what you see. You see cooler, that trough drops down into the desert southwest. This is between now and next Tuesday, the 6th. So that's day 1 through 5. You ready for 6 through 11 and 11 through 15?
Let's
16?
go.
Okay.
This is now mid-May, right?
So this would be days 6 through 11, which would be next Wednesday, the 7th through Mother's Day, the day after Mother's Day, Monday
Okay.
the 12th. Okay.
Second week.
Because hopefully we all have Mother's Day in mind. You better. Okay.
If
you
not,
have a
now it
mother.
is.
Well, I just said if you have a mother, most likely you have a mother. Okay.
Or a motherly figure. You know how it goes.
Right. So this is still saying above normal heights, although upper trough is dug maybe a more offshore, more lower than normal heights offshore, maybe more southwesterly flow, maybe some showers, we'll see. And then now the GFS ensemble has a little bit of a troughing over us, at least in the 5-day average. This is the 12th through the 17th. I did check because Peyton, considering the pattern we're in, I'm like, wait, could this be a trend? Is that what we're seeing on the other models? European and the Canadian ensemble averages did not have as much troughing. So don't get too excited about a cool showery pattern yet.
It doesn't look super impressive anyway.
That said, we
flip.
need one. We could actually use a solid week of like 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain would be great.
We could.
So if we just look at, one of my favorites, 850 millibar temp. This is from the European EPS is ensemble prediction system, the Euro.
Mm-hmm.
And the average for May at 850 millibars, this is temperature in Celsius. So up at about government camp elevation, 6 degrees Celsius is about there. It goes below average this weekend. So a little cooler this weekend.
Yep.
And then a little above average again. So here's another warming spell. This is what we're talking about for next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then maybe a dip, although it starts to get messy in here. The blue is the operational model. The green is the ensemble average of all the ensembles there. Thus the word average.
Yeah.
So you see there. So I think big picture is some cooling this weekend, warming atmosphere again, up around 10 to 13, 14 maybe is the average around Tuesday. Cooling again, we think Thursday, Friday-ish. It becomes messier after this, but hints of maybe warming again for Mother's Day weekend. Could be.
Yeah.
We'll see. Very messy after that, in that there's a much wider spread. When you see those, the box and whiskers, when the box gets, there's more spread, that means there's more spread in the ensemble solution. See how tightly clustered they are here. The little boxes are very small.
Yes.
And the 850 millibar chart. I used to call it Mark's Magic chart, but that seems kind of silly.
Did you take a photo of this today?
Nope. I grabbed it from the podcast from a year ago.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, we showed this on May 1st last year.
Aw.
You're always welcome to go back and listen to the podcast from a year ago to see how our perspectives changed in 1 year. And we always like it when you click within our website or our app. The bosses made me say that. Okay, so this just shows, this is a good approximation of, this just shows it was about a 22-year period, 850 millibar temperature observed over Salem at 5 p.m. versus what the high temperature was in Portland that day. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of see this 10 to 15, plus 10 to plus 15. We generally would have highs generally within this box, generally between 75 and 85 degrees. These lines up, or I'm sorry, these plot points up here, these are east wind sunny days. Basically what we just had today. You don't have to have strong east wind in May, just enough that you have an offshore gradient. You've lost the cooling from the ocean. And you can see if you hit plus 13, yeah, you could be 85, 86 degrees, right?
Yeah, easy, for sure.
Yeah. So when you get a plus 20 in May, east wind, you could be 95 degrees. And we've seen that in the past. So that gives us a general idea. All right. Then if we look at, this is from the European. I love this one. I don't look at this often enough, but in a pattern like this, it's really useful. Twice now, we've been approaching a weekend and we see an upper level trough. We're going to get showers. And then the chance for showers and the quantity of the precipitation really goes downhill as we approach. Because this shows latest run of the Euros here, 24-hour precipitation. Every 6 hours, 24 hours. So they're overlapping, right? If it's 24 hours, but every 6 hours, they're overlapping. But if you go back, how many runs? 1, 2, so 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. You go back 4.5 days to the Euro, it was showing, it's going to be kind of wet late Friday into Sunday. Mm-hmm. Look how over time, as we go down through the various runs, it kind of dries out, although it seems to have leveled out now to just some light showers. The point is, 3-4 days ago, 5 days ago, it was looking wet this weekend. Now we're saying, a few showers late Friday and Saturday. Great tool there to see how
it's happening too.
Yeah, and look how it's happening a little bit also for next Thursday. On the 7-day forecast, which you'll see right there, next Thursday, I've got a shower chance. But I look at that and I'm like, we'll see. But we should always throw it in there, right?
Yeah.
Shower chance. clearly there's
chance.
no good. Yeah, there's no good chance for precipitation. This is 24 hours ending at this time. This is Saturday. Is this Monday? It's hidden by my little. I have a little box here.
Saturday,
You folks can see
Monday.
'em.
Yes, that's Monday.
Yeah. So basically, by Sunday morning, the chance is gone, and it doesn't reappear again until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Wednesday night or Thursday. That's
It's
our
another dry
forecast.
stretch. Yep, there it is.
Peyton, I'm going to tell the viewers what I did. I realized I didn't like about our 7-day because actually this one looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You were not on our podcast last week, Peyton, but we discussed all this, in the office before about, some people don't like certain graphics, and we like our graphics, and some of the old graphics that look not so great. The one thing that bothers me is that I want to change. See, Peyton, see how the suns are all lined up here, and this little one here annoys me that the sun is smaller and that it's adjusted up. I know exactly why, because you're supposed to look at it as a whole, like, oh, it's a sun and cloud. But something about
Right.
I like having everything lined up just right.
Part of me also seems Sunday and Friday have bigger suns, slightly. Maybe it's just my eye, but if you look at the circle.
Yep. Here. See here.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna fix that. That's my next project. Is slow weather, and I assume after I come back from vacation, that's gonna be my next thing. And this, I gotta change this. I would prefer, folks. That's the one thing you get if you got experienced meteorologists and graphics experts, or they get ideas, and it's like this little thing here. Somebody asked me in the control room. They said, "Is the sun being cut apart? What's going on?" I said, "Oh, I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna make it look really good for TV."
It looks like it got torn. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to make it look really good, folks. Oh, and by the way, we have Tuesday colored red. It's not a first alert weather day, but it's like, okay, this is a pretty warm day. This is clearly the warmest day of the next 7.
Yeah.
Like, hey, pay attention. That's the warmest day. Not first alert. Holy cow, something big is going to happen that day, or it's extreme heat. We won't have a record that day.
It's like 15 to 20 above average.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Obviously, it's a notable change.
Okay, so term of the week. Oh, we got to keep moving. You got a big show here at 8:00. So Heatwave. I couldn't think of a good term of the week. So
I honestly didn't even ask you. This is a surprise to me.
Yeah, so I just needed one. I couldn't think of a good one for now. So Heatwave. I don't think I've ever heard this in our area. Also called a hot wave or a warm wave.
Hot wave.
Yeah,
sounds like a hot flash.
Yeah. A period of abnormally and comfortably hot and usually humid weather. Yeah, that doesn't apply to the Western USA. This is from the AMS Glossary of Meteorology. I highlighted in 1900, I assume Mr. because it was 1900.
Right.
But it could be her. Rigidly defined a hot wave as a spell of 3 or more days in which a maximum temperature reaches or exceeds 90. Most important point, and Peyton, I'm going to have you, can you go to Facebook to the Broadcast Meteorologist Facebook group?
Yes.
I put a post in there. Here it says it's dependent upon the normal conditions of that region. So obviously it's going to be very different in Alaska versus Phoenix, right? So what I did, folks, while Peyton's looking, just an hour ago, I went to we have a a national broadcast meteorologist Facebook group. Everybody's got a group for everything.
Yep.
They got groups for parakeets, they got groups for gardeners, and we got a group for broadcast meteorologists. And I asked the meteorologist, because what do you consider a heat wave in your neighborhood? And I was hoping Melissa, who we've had on this podcast from Anchorage, would chime in. But
is this the Gray TV one?
No, this is the actual broadcast.
Sorry, I was going to the Gray TV one. We have a lot of them.
So while you're looking that up, yeah. So in Portland, typically we consider. I mean, the whole time I've been here, I was told this is how it is, and so I've just stuck with it. 3 or more days above 90. Or if you get one day that's 95 plus, I mean, what if it's 88 one day and 98 the next day and 88 the next day? That's a heat wave. Let's not mince numbers there. You can see last year, July 4th through the 10th, that was a biggie. Look at the 92, 99, 99, 100, 102, 104, 93. I was on vacation for that one. And then July 18th through 20th, we had a 90, 91, 94. I think I might have been on vacation for the third one as well. I'm sensing a theme here for summertime.
All right, well, now I'm nervous about next week, Mark.
Yeah. So then, we did hit 102 on September 5th. I forgot about that. Wow.
This was last year?
Yeah. How did I forget about that? It's just before Camilla had her baby. I think was I on vacation that week too? I might have actually worked that day. Hey, were you able to find that?
No. Maybe I'm not tech savvy. I don't know.
I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to find it here.
Yeah, go find it, because I'm in like 3 different broadcast meteorologist groups, so it could be in a lot.
I don't know if I can get on Facebook on this computer. Uh-oh. I might have you go ahead. Oh, good Lord, log in. There's no way this is gonna pass muster. I think I just changed my password to. Okay, folks.
It's gonna make you 2-factor too, so it's gonna be a whole thing.
Folks, we're not doing 2-factor ID live during that podcast. I will say Chris Dunn, who I believe is in Phoenix. Is that right? Chris Dunn, meteorologist. Chandler, Arizona. Isn't that in Phoenix?
Okay, yeah, Chandler's in.
Or maybe he's not on TV anymore. I'm not sure. But anyway, he chimed in. He said something like 10 days or more above 110 they consider a heat wave. Or did he say
yes,
above
I was actually going to comment that. When you were, because I went to school in Arizona and Phoenix. And I remember the requirement when you said heat wave, and I read the little 90 requirement. I was like, oh, that would be the overnight low sometimes in Phoenix. We wouldn't even get below 90
you're right,
in the summer. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 110. I don't know. It depends on the time of year.
Right.
But
he said
everything's a heat wave.
Before he chimed in about the 110s, he said 115. Maybe he means it's got to be, for them to call it a heat wave, it's got to at least hit 115.
Yeah.
Maybe
one of the
like
days,
that.
Which is so crazy to think about now, but that's just how it was when you live there,
And Florida it would have to be high humidity plus high heat. Although you think of Orlando in the summertime or Miami, there's not a huge range. I mean, my guess is their coolest day, well, unless they have a weather system overhead and it's only 85 because of rain. Most days are going to be like 90 to 93 in Orlando, let's say in summertime. So I don't know how they define heat wave down there.
It's all different. I think even in Virginia it was a little bit different. Maybe it was 90 though. Yeah. Okay, time for pictures. This is Mount Jefferson, a cool shadow at sunset. This happens, obviously, when the sun is behind the mountain. Creates a cool shadow at its peak. Kim sent this to us, I think a couple days ago. I saw this one, too.
It's funny because Camilla, she was doing these pictures yesterday. Well, you were off yesterday. You got one day off there. That was nice. Eventually, you'll get 2 days off. Don't worry, Peyton. But
eventually.
I saw that, and I'm like, ooh, sunrise over Mount Jefferson. And then I'm like, wait a minute. West of the Cascades, we see these sunrise photos like this, but east of the Cascades, they see sunset views like this with the mountain shadow, right? So we see opposite ends of the day.
It's a different view.
Pretty neat stuff.
Pretty. Oh my gosh, I saw this.
Ooh, pretty.
This is so cool. Beautiful. Mark always sends us really cool Eastern Oregon photos. We've actually saved a few in our
that's
map
really
system.
Nice. Is that over in the Grand Ronde Valley, or where is this? Do we
I don't know. I didn't. This is when we need Camilla, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to guess there, or Baker City, or is it John Day area? I'm not sure. Either way, pretty clouds there with the cumulonimbus there probably, and you kind of see the wind twisting. Looks like the showers coming out of the cloud. Ooh, and Lenny's. We got Lenny's here.
Yes, lenticular clouds. This is always like one of the first clouds you learn about from a weather nerd's perspective as a little kid. Over Mount Hood. Christian Saint sent this one to us, and he even sent, I took another one that's more vertical, a little zoomed in. It's beautiful. But yeah, this happens a lot. I mean, especially if you're flying on an airplane and you fly by Mount Hood, sometimes you can see the
close up
lenticular clouds.
I love time lapsing these because then you see them. You clearly see the movement. The air is being pushed up, moistens, turns into a cloud cover, and then it goes down the other side. It's constantly forming and then falling apart. So it's always really good. Thank you, Christian Saint. And actually, for any of you, if you have pictures to share, we would love to see them. Always we use them on air. And of course, we'd like to show them during the podcast as well. Okay, I think we've reached the end of our journey, Peyton.
We have
another good session here. I will be gone next week. Hopefully, hopefully it will be. It'll just be the ladies next week without me. I think you'll do just fine. You don't need me. And then,
I don't know, what day is that?
I don't know. It's somewhere on the schedule. Not my problem. I'm on vacation.
Right. Yeah, I'll look.
Okay, so thanks for joining us, folks, for episode 135. We will see you next week, and have a great evening, morning,